Hi, my name is Cami, and for my presentation this week, I chose to dive a little deeper into Romanticism. We talked about this, I think, last week in class, and it just really caught my eye through the things that it embodies. And I also chose it because the movement has a rich historical history and significant influence on later art developments that I think is really important. So let's get into it. First is my introduction. Romanticism was originated in the late 18th century. It was primarily developed in Europe, and it's the movement that's focused on emphasizing inspiration, subjectivity, and the primary of the individual. It uses symbols and allegory to convey deeper meanings, and it is mainly depictions of nature and humans. Sorry, my pictures are a little blurry that I included on here. But anyway, historical background and origins. Romanticism emerged as a counter movement to the Enlightenment, which emphasized reason, logic, and scientific thought. Romantics sought to highlight the importance of emotion, intuition, and individual experience. There was also a growing interest in medievalism, which Romantic artists drew inspiration from Gothic architecture, folklore, and distant lands. Romantics were also fascinated by the power and beauty of nature, as well as the emotional responses that it could evoke. Key characteristics and styles. I'm going to start over here on number 1, exoticism and medievalism. Like we just talked about, it looks into the past and distant places for inspiration. Number 2, emotional and imagination. Artists sought to express deep feelings and explore the inner workings of the human mind. Number 3 is individualism. The focus on the individual and personal experiences is a hallmark of Romanticism. Romantics value personal freedom and unique perspective. Number 4 is nature. They depicted nature as a source of, or they used it as a source of inspiration, beauty, and spiritual renewal. Romantics celebrated the majesty and mystery of the natural world. And then finally, one of the biggest topics is the sublime, the concept of sublime, which is the sense of awe and wonder. And, techniques and material. Contrast and light is one of the techniques that they used. Romantic painters often played with light and shadow to create dramatic contrasts, enhancing the emotional impact of their works. This technique helped to emphasize the sublime. Expressive brushwork is another technique. Romantic painters often use loose, expressive brushwork to convey emotion and movement. This technique helped to create a sense of spontaneity and intensity. And then the two materials that I included were oil paints and watercolors. Oil paints were used for their rich colors and versatility, which allowed for detailed and expressive works. And then watercolors were used for their ability to create delicate and atmospheric effects. Influence and legacy. The influence that Romanticism had was that it influenced later art movements like Expressionism and Symbolism, where personal feeling and inner experiences became central themes. It also influenced the Romantic fascination with the power and beauty of nature, and it paved ways for the movements like the Hudson River School in the United States. Legacy. Romantic art left a long-lasting legacy on cultural things like literature, music, and philosophy. The technique has become staples in the artist's toolkit, and Romantic themes inspire modern artists. And here are my sources. And that is everything I learned about Romanticism.